Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk.
We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk, real talk. Hell, I want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're building our foundation upon truth. I'm thankful now to think about it. Communicate and speak about it. The gospel of salvation is good news. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking,
Real Talk, Moorish Talk. In 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m.
We thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.
Islam. First, I give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe. I give honor to his last and holy divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to the forerunner to the prophet, Brother Marcus Garvey. I give honor to all prophets of Allah, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. I give honor to the past Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, and Brother J. Blakely Bey. I give honor to our past Grand Sheikh and moderator, Brother R. Love Ill. I give honor to our present Grand Sheikh and moderator, Brother R. Jones Bey, and to his assistant, Brother A. Hopkins Bey. I give honor to our media team. I give honor to all of our beautiful viewers. I give honor to all the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and to my beautiful sisters on the panel. I give honor to you all. I am Sister Greer Ill, Temple 71, Washington, D.C. Oh, and before I go, tonight's topic is dealing with the pain.
Islam, Sister Britt, we can't hear you. You can't hear us. Yeah, you can't hear us. Why don't you come on back? We'll be ready for you, sis. Maybe try to come in and come on back. Islam, my name is Sister A. Ravenel Bey. First, I rise and give praise to my Father God Allah. I give honor to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to everything that my dear sister Ingrid Ill gave honors to. And I give honor to our viewers, our guests, those that are here in this conversation with us, and be able to have a healthy dialogue and a healthy conversation today. Again, my name is Sister A. Ravenel Bey from Temple number 21, Brooklyn, New York.
Islam. First, I rise giving praise to our Father God Allah, honors to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Oh, Sister Britt Bay, we can't hear you. You just went out all of a sudden. Do it one more time. Come on back, sis. Well, for those that are watching, that is our dear sister T. Britt Bay, who will come back and introduce herself. She's also from Temple number 71, Washington, D.C. I want to give a special honors also to the media team that's in the back and behind and trying to make it all work, because it is a thing to try to make it all work and make sure it presents to you. So, Sister Grill, why don't we just go ahead and get it started until the sister comes back and joins with us? How does that sound?
Sure, but before we do, I want to also give honors to our Sister T. Hawkins Bay, who wasn't able to join us this evening. Honors to the sister.
That's right. Let's give honor to C. Hopkins Bay. We miss you, sister.
All right, sis.
Islam, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
My apologies to the viewers.
All right, sis. Well, we couldn't hear all your honors, but we know you gave your honors. And so why don't you just introduce yourself and then we're just going to jump on in.
Islam Moores. My name is Sister T. Britt Bay, Washington, D.C., Temple number 71.
Praise Allah. Well, I'm going to kick off with the first question we have. The topic is dealing with the pain. And so what is pain and what does pain even feel like? Because that's an interesting word.
Well, the definition, I'm going to read this first one that came up. What is pain? What is pain? Pain is an unpleasant sensory or emotional experience. No two people feel the same way, even if the reasons for their pain are alike. Pain is a highly personal experience, and a person's report of their own pain is the best measure. Pain can feel mild to severe. What does pain feel like? It depends on where the pain stems from. It can feel like 1,000 rushing in at a time. It can feel like the air's been left out of you. It can feel like, it just really depends on where the pain stems from. Is it physical? Is it emotional? Is it, is it spiritual? Where is it coming from? So yeah, that would be my question. My answer. I'm sorry.
I agree.
That one.
Yeah, I agree. It's all the same. It's empty. It's lonely. It's a dark place.
Dark. Yeah.
Yeah. It's it for me.
And the thing that I agree with you on that definition is it is so personal. When you were reading that answer, it made me think about, when you go to the doctor sometimes and you're like, oh, I got a pain in my arm. And they're like, well, is it a 0 to 10? Because depending on the injury, the pain can be mild, or it could be really throbbing, or it could be, it could feel like it's going to take you out. So it is personal because,
Definitely.
all of us had children, everybody's pain was different. The process was the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, for some people, they're like, oh, it was no deal. I'm like, really? What for me, I know what it was for me, but everybody's pain tolerance is different and everyone's experience is so different.
It is. I was just at the doctor the other day, and I was experiencing a level 10. It felt like a level 10 to me, right? And then I told the doctor, I said, you know what? I don't know about that. I said, because I was just looking at the story on Dateline about a woman who was so much in pain that she could not get out of bed. I said, that would seem like a level 10, right? And she said, no. She said, your pain is your pain. If it feels like a 10 to you, then it's a 10. We can't judge our pain from somebody else's pain. And I said, I just felt bad, because I don't complain, but I do think, Allah, please, guide me to some avenues where I can minimize my pain, right? I don't want to be in pain. I just don't. It's been a long time, and it wears you down mentally, physically, emotionally, and you become start feeling limited to what you can do, right? To me, that's pain. Being limited to just be free to move around at will. A lot of people take that for granted. And when Sister Burberry, when you were talking about some of those things, those feelings, I was thinking of drowning. It can feel like that too.
Yeah.
People.
Yes. Being swallowed up. Mm-hmm.
You know, when you just said limited, you know, sometimes we can accommodate the pain. You
Mm.
know, I'm just thinking about, you know, I had a little knee injury and it wasn't much, but I knew I needed to heal. So it was a little bit of a pain. But but because of that, I was overcompensating on the other side of my body. I didn't realize it until someone said, "You're limping." I said, "No, I'm not." And I was limping on the other leg because I was accommodating the pain. And so, you know, physical or emotional,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we're dealing with pain, we need to be aware if we are accommodating the pain, because I think that sometimes that's a danger when pain is just a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm. I
How
noticed
about when you start accommodating physical pain with food?
Mm,
with food.
Yeah, because I have literally ate to physical pain. You know, you can't go nowhere. You just stuck in the house. So, no, real life. And
No.
I didn't even realize I had got so, had gained so much weight until I
Yeah.
saw myself in a picture. I didn't
Yeah.
even realize it. And I was like, I'm real life eating to my feelings. It's the same thing as no real difference than using to my feelings. I
Mm-hmm.
was using to my feelings. I was
Mm-hmm.
eating to the physical pain and the mental pain
that's
because it
right.
becomes mental over
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not stationary dealing
Praise
with
the
pain.
law. Praise the law. I keep saying, I'm sorry, sister. This was real one for me. I'm grateful that I can carry, um, you know, everything that has a beginning has an end. That's
Mm-hmm.
something I hold on to, especially
Mm,
when dealing with pain.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Mm-hmm. I notice
I'm sorry,
as
sister.
I'm getting older, um, like pain related to some sort of injury, I've always had a tolerance for pain of any kind of injury sort of pain, a high tolerance. But I notice as I'm getting older, mm-mm, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mm.
yeah. When I know I was younger, you just brush that off.
Yeah.
You
But not
cough
now.
wrong now. You
Not
cough
now.
wrong. You crack a rib.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very
So
fragile, sis. Very
we
fragile.
just
Okay.
what helps you get through your pain?
Mm.
Hope, determination, prayer, understanding, understanding of what took place, understanding of what caused the pain,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
understanding the part that I played
Yeah.
or didn't
Come on
play.
now. Come on now.
Um, being able to talk about it,
Yeah.
being able to admit that I'm hurt.
Mhm.
Um, and then believing in myself and believing in the lesson. Um, the instructions is a go-to when I'm going through pain.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna find something in there to get me through it. And because of the fact that I don't like the feeling of pain, I want to get to the end result, to the other side of it. But I know that there are steps to getting there.
Mhm.
So in order for me to get there, I've got to dissect everything. I've got to take it completely apart and really look at it. And the most valuable part of that is looking at me,
Yeah.
seeing me, and accepting what I see. And then it's okay, so how do I get through this?
Mhm.
Because sometimes seeing me brings the pain on a little bit more stronger.
Hmm.
Um, and so now it's okay, how do I get through this?
Yeah.
And one of my go-tos is in chapter 1. Man is perfected by the things he suffers. So if this is what I gotta go through, If I gotta go through it, because I've been told I can't go around it, I can't go over it, I can't go under it. I gotta go through it. So whatever it's going to take, sometimes that takes, like I said, me talking about it. I'm very careful about who I choose to talk to about certain things. So talking about it, and I done lost train of thought real quick. Praise Allah, give me that back. But definitely talking about it just to get through it to the other side. And once again, I can't say it enough, forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the ultimate ways of me getting through it. Because to me, just to lean on it and keep stressing, because I used to do that. I used to stress on it. 9 times out of 10, I was never looking at me in whatever it was. But now today, you know, I'm learning how in another way. But the main thing is, if this is how I am to be perfected, praise Allah. I'm determined. I'm getting through this. I'm coming up out of this. It will not get the best of me. Peace.
Islam, yeah. You know, you said so much. You made me think about one of my favorites in our chapter of Life and Works of Jesus in Egypt among the Gentiles, and what Jesus said. You know, when Jesus went through the halls with others, you know, and they were like, "Why do you want to go through these things? Why do you want to essentially? Why do you want to do these tests?" And his answer was beautiful, because to me, it was like, you know, in every way of life, I would walk. In every hall of learning, I will sit. The highest heights that any man has gained, these I would gain. And what any man has suffered, I would meet. You know, that part to me is like, somebody has suffered through something. Yes. We're going to suffer through some things.
Absolutely.
And we're going to meet it. And at that same time, that I may know the griefs and the disappointments and the sore temptations of my brother, man. Yeah. You know, when you go through certain things, you now have a different experience, a different learning, that now you see things new, you know, and then I can see my brother man very differently. You know, you can understand their point of view, you know, and it always makes me, you know, go back to my mom when she was like, you know, young, and you see somebody parent their child, like, I would never do that. And you're like, you don't know what you're gonna do.
That's right.
You become a mother.
Yeah.
And when you become a mother, your way of parenting may be different. It's real easy on the sidelines to say that child shouldn't be behaving like this, but the mother knows why the child is behaving. Maybe the baby is tired. You know, you go on a plane and the baby's crying, and some people get an attitude, and my heart goes out to them now, because that baby's in pain from that ear. You have that ear in that level of pain, and there's nothing you can do, you know. And so whether it's the baby, whether it's, you know, someone going through a hurtful relationship, you know, whether death, grief, you know, when we go through those pains, it's so that we can be able to succor my brother in need. Because I know, I have a portion of my understanding of what it was like. Right. And now I can see it very differently. So I think about that pain is for me to learn to go through, but it also makes me a more compassionate person for my brother man who's going through stuff, you know, because love saves the world. If love is to save the world, you know, when you go through things, you learn love in a very different way.
I don't really even have to say anything. That was a whole lot. I mean, no, really. I would say, you know, a lot of things Sister Grit Bay said about how, you know, you get through pain. I won't say the first thing. Well, depends on what it is. If it's physical, I will say, Allah, please relieve me from this pain. If it's emotional or mental, I first try to retract of how I got there, right? And like Sister Grit was saying, the part I played in it, and think about a time that I may have already had this experience, and what did I do to get through it then? What avenues did I take to get through it then? Yeah. And then ask Allah to give me the tools and the strength and the want. Because sometimes I can be stubborn. but and to give me the want to move forward. So yeah, music is one for me. I love to listen to music. I could literally sit in here in the dark, in the quiet. I like to call it in the quiet, and just stare at this painting right here. I can sit right there and just stare at that painting for hours, just thinking and reflecting. And I asked for that when I was going through real deep, serious emotional pain. Like when I think about it, I be like, girl, you was crazy. But it's something I had to go through, right? I really feel like it was something I had to go through. I feel like I'm a person who made like a little bit of struggle. I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't know why I feel like, I don't, I mean, when I overcome something, that makes it more worth it than just something. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, those are some of my methods. I use. Laughter, it's definitely one of them. I'll find an episode of the Golden Girls real fast.
Yes,
You
there
know,
it is.
because the thought, I always keep this up front. The thought of affliction, right? And I gotta put things in its place,
That's right.
right, to try to block it out. So praise God. Thank you.
Sister, I didn't answer your question correctly. I was just going off what Sister Britt was saying, because your question was, what do you use to get through it, correct?
What helps
What
you
helps you get through it?
What helps you get through it? When I was hearing it, I was like, yeah, I love music.
Yes.
I love, I don't.
Cooking.
Oh yeah, well,
Oh, that's just me.
That's you. I mean, not to get through. Like when I need to zone out, sometimes that I'm cooking and I have time, I'll do that. But when it's pain, I also love to watch other artists. I admire people who are dancers or people who are singers. I'm not one of them. Or theater. I love I can really, like, some people will, maybe watch movies or something, and I can do that a little bit, but I really love seeing live. People use their gifts to be inspirational. That helps me get through pain. I love a good live music. Give me a little later, halfway. Give me some, give me some soulful music to listen to, and I can sit there and feel that vibration through them. That uplifts my spirit.
Yes.
Comedy for sure. I do love, make me laugh, make me think. And sometimes just being outside for me will help me, just kind of sometimes clear my head, and just being in a different place, seeing things differently, slowing down a little bit so that I can put things in perspective. Because sometimes I think my pain is not the only pain in the world either. Sometimes you're walking down the block and you see things and you realize, oh, that person may be going through something maybe worse than me, and it ain't about me in this moment. So sometimes I just need to get out of my head, get out of my space. And of course, I need to talk to people typically. And I ask Allah, I'll say, Allah, I'm reading this, but you know what? You speak and work through man. So put the right people in front of me who give me the message I need to hear.
Yes.
And he does it all the time.
Yes.
All of a sudden somebody will call you, like, I haven't spoken. Oh. And then I think, oh, that's right, I did ask, right, for that message. And he sent the person who he thought that I would listen to get the message to me. So.
And when you get it, don't you ever have that feeling? You be like, okay. Okay, Allah.
Yeah.
That's
a
right.
relief. It's a relief.
Praise Allah.
Definitely. How do you separate the pain from your attitude?
It's hard sometimes for me.
It is.
I know that when I am going through pain that may have me in a bad mood, say for instance, and it can be any kind of pain, whether it be physical or emotional. I try to steer clear of folks because I don't want it to come off onto them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in here isolating or just working through it,
Mm-hmm.
until I get to a better space where my energy won't affect someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's not
Yeah.
always easy to do.
No, it's not.
It definitely isn't, because sometimes you can be in the midst, in your head, with dealing with the pain, and see, the reality is I still have to go to work where there are people,
Mm-hmm.
because I can't just shut myself up in the house. I still gotta pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to find a way. And it's not always successful. I have to talk to myself that entire day, because I'm dealing with the public. I'm dealing with coworkers. I have family members I gotta deal with. You understand what I'm saying? So I have to talk to myself. Like when I'm at work, I have to, before I go in the building, okay, you're going in this building, look approachable. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Check your attitude. Because I know that a lot of times when I think that, okay, I know I got some things going on with me today and I'm trying to leave it at home because now I'm at work. Sometimes that mood will hit. You don't even realize that it's there. And I could be fine going to work and I could see a switch up the moment I'm in the company or the presence of another person, and it has absolutely nothing to do with them. But I know that there's a part of me on the inside that really don't want to be around anybody at this moment. Don't really want to talk. Ain't nothing funny. Like I'm really not there, but I know I have to find a way
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
to keep, because the pain, that anger and attitude is always associated with pain. I mean, just think about it when you stomp your toe. Man, I am what?
Mhm.
I am angry.
Yep.
So I have to, I try my best when I have to go out into the world and still dealing with some personal issues. I have to talk to myself. And there are some times a person might stumble up on me and I might be caught up in my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And that has happened to me on my job. And a sister came to me and she said, "You hurt my feelings today." And she was dead serious. And I felt so bad. And I said, "What happened? What did I do?" And she told me, she said, "You snapped at me today." And y'all know I well up in a heartbeat. I felt bad because I just felt bad. That's just me, especially me knowing that it definitely wasn't intentional. And then my thing is I really ain't want to be here anyway. So I wouldn't have to worry about that. But all I could do in the moment was apologize to that sister sincerely.
Mm-hmm.
And at first it kind of came off as if she really wasn't taking it, but I had to even like hear the record scratch in my head, like, don't even get caught up in that. Don't you dare get caught up in that. You leave that to Allah,
Mm-hmm.
but you make your speedy reparation.
Mm-hmm.
And just from her coming to me and sharing that, and she was cool. The next day, she was right back to, the big smile. "Hey, Miss Birthday," she never said my name right. I don't know what she called me, but I would just respond. But nevertheless, from that moment on, like the rest of that week, I really was trying to be mindful. So it is difficult. It's difficult to separate the two. And that's a
Yeah.
part of monitoring your thoughts and all that throughout the day. But then you got other things coming at you and that you got to deal with. And it's difficult, but it is achievable. It can be done. You know what I'm saying? Peace.
It's definitely a difference on the workplace and outside the workplace. But how about when you got to go to out in the public and the public is there? you know, like you go outside and then outside is outside and it's people all around and you be like, why are all these people out here with me? Peace.
I would just think about the courage that it took that person to say something to you, because a lot of times I have to remember, when you interact with somebody that you weren't mad at her. She could have immediately said, you've been in a situation, be like, why were you rude to me? Why were you mad at me? Or you didn't say anything at all. And now they got an attitude with you because
Mm-hmm.
they thought that you had something. You weren't even thinking about this person. You weren't
Mm-hmm.
even thinking about them at all. And to me, that's going back to that lesson. We don't know what's happening sometimes with somebody. So sometimes people like, oh, this person don't like me for whatever. Maybe that person ain't even thinking about you. Maybe they going through
Mm-hmm.
their pain, their problem, through their issue, and you just happened to be there and you felt that vibration. But
Yeah.
you know, if you'd have asked or said something, maybe they would have told you and cleared that up. But I just wanted to acknowledge that because not everybody does that. And sometimes we go around assuming that people may be mad at me or this one got an attitude or this one got this. And it really has nothing to do with it. They're not even thinking about you. They're going
Mm-hmm.
through their pain,
Mm-hmm.
and I think to that question, the people from me that'll get it the hardest is going to be family
Mm-hmm.
because I can, when I need to be on the public, I know consciously I'm going into the public. Now the public they doesn't mean that they may not feel a piece of it, but I'm consciously thinking about it. But when I'm home with my family 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sometimes I have to apologize, and then I
Mm-hmm.
see it with everybody else when they got something going on, something didn't go right in school, and then somebody come with an attitude, throwing the book bag, and I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? They don't want to talk about it, it's like, okay, what's happening, right? They're going through something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you're with family, I feel like they get it the hardest because they got to love you through it,
Yes.
you know. And as mom, as the adults, I think we have a different responsibility because it's hard for your
Mm-hmm.
children to see you go through that. So sometimes, for me, I'm like, mommy need a minute. And I come in my room and they know something might need, but I need a minute because I don't want to let my lower self really take me or say something or whatever, or I need to cry, whatever it is, take that away and try to remove myself. But sometimes it's like I don't have time to do it. I got to get work. I got to get food done. Dinner's got to get cooked. Something's got to happen. So you try to work through it, and I'm just quiet. I get very very quiet when I'm going through stuff, and I can't I don't want to talk to her. So I feel like sometimes family because they see it all.
Mm-hmm. We got to learn how to manage it because there are times I know Allah wants to use us even in the midst of us dealing with pain. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So we have to be ready, and I guess it's what we're striving to learn how to do all these things.
Mm-hmm. 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 We
When
had.
going through pain, what kind of signs of when going through pain of any kind, I'm sorry, what kind of signs do you get that alert you
Mood
when you're going through
swings,
something?
attitude, my behavior, my mood. Um,
Mm-hmm.
those are the signs that I get. I pay attention to. I mean, I can see, and I don't catch it all the time, but I can see in my actions. Sometimes how I drive. You know what I'm saying? I'll catch myself like bawling and be like, slow it down because I done got up in my head and I got stuck there and I'm mad. And now that the anger kicked in, my foot done got heavy on that gas pedal. So um, I get obvious signs that alerts me, that pain is evident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think there's the physical piece for me, which is, sometimes all my attention goes to that, you know. Um, I think you said it to agree about, the part about the affliction is worse than the pain itself,
Yeah.
from that. Sometimes it's like, the cut hurt worse and you don't realize or feel anything else except the cut. um I'm not thirsty no more, not hungry no more, not whatever anymore, not hot no more. It's all about this physical pain that I feel. And then when it's emotional, um you know, that mental thought, I just feel my vibration is off, I'm not happy, I'm not content, you know, um, looking at things in a different way. And you know when you're off,
Mhm.
and then it's time for some reflection to happen.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you don't even want to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
Your patience, your tolerance is short.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was saying earlier when I isolate, of course, we gotta go be productive and take care of our needs. But I sometimes I walk on the eggshells of myself because I know when I'm what alerts me is if my face is set up, all twisted up and whatnot. Like what you thinking about, sis? What's going on? You know, one of the reasons that way I know I'm in some real physical pain is how my apartment may look.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
You know, I may got shoes piled up somewhere. Because
mm-hmm.
I just decided, just putting them up each day was just a little bit too much. I gotta take clothes off, baptize, all this other stuff, and put shoes up too. Come on now, that's a bit much.
Right.
But yeah, it really varies. But what I do, what we do when we recognize it, that's the part when we recognize
Yeah.
that we off. I'm off. Oh, you got all these shoes out here. You off. You want to do something, right? Um, you're speeding. You're going through something. You're not supposed to be eating through that. What you going through?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it made me think about, I'm gonna go to the question, which is who in your life has helped you through the pain, or are you alone? Um, so yeah, who in your life helps you?
Outside of Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing I know is we're never alone.
Hmm.
Physically, we may be.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, and even then, when we're physically alone, we still gotta find a way.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, because no one's guaranteed to always be right there. And it always make me think about my mother used to always say, you came in this world by yourself, you're gonna leave this world by yourself. But my mom is definitely my number one go to on a spiritual level, on a mommy level, on a friend level, on a sister level. My mother is that person. Um, there's just peace in her saying things and her not saying things. She just brings peace and comfort to whether it's a physical pain or if it's a internal emotional pain.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, I mean, I don't have to see her to feel that comfort. I could just hear her. She might not have a lot of words. It just doesn't take much effort from my mother. It's just knowing she's there, right, wrong, and indifferent. Whatever the situation is, she is. And then if there are words that are needed to be said, it's almost like she just knows. It's almost like she knows what to say, and all I could do is just thank Allah for my mom. That if I don't have nobody else to talk to, I have her. So when y'all talk about me being grateful that she's here, I definitely am. Excuse me for getting emotional
It's okay.
because I know that day is going to come, and she is like, she's just a bomb in my life. She really is, but she is definitely, and she'll always be that number one go-to person for me, because she never makes me feel no kind of way other than just loved,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that about her. So yeah, it's my mom. Peace.
Mm-hmm. Well, we might need some tissue, sisters. So you got yours, I got mine.
sorry,
Got
I'm sorry, I'm
I got hers. We all got our tissues just to be safe. You know, I can go and to say, you know, when I made so the answer is manyfold. It definitely has been my mother for sure. Um, and you know, mother's love, it cannot be described, you know. And you know, when I made the transition to move away from home, I don't know, I guess I thought I would always be close. I realized at that moment I didn't have her as accessible. And that, and when my mother got ill, you know, my mother got ill towards the end of her life. And I lost a part of my mother. I lost the part of her that I was so used to having. And it's interesting because, you know, she was physically with me, but mentally she was not still with me. And I remember this talk about pain. I was in the pain, and there's a few years ago, I was in the pain and I was upset, you know, frustrated because I felt wronged for missing her, but she was physically here, even though I know I couldn't have the same conversation. You know, when you're suffering with, you know, dementia, parts of them goes, you know, and praying to Allah about it. And talk about, you know, talk about a call. I got a call from Sister H. Torrance Bay. And she called me for something else. And when in that call, it weaved into that conversation. And she just gave me the words that I needed to hear at that time. And in that process, I got off that phone and I realized Allah was sending me the spirit of a mother from a different point of view. And at that point, I was surprised, I was grateful, but I also realized that that was the beginning and opportunity for me to um, find that motherly spirit through many others. And so I think about how grateful Allah has been to me. And you know, my mom passed last year, and throughout her illness, I had her physically taking care of her, but you know, her mental was different, and I was graced with many mothers to come through for me. You know, I just
Praise Allah.
Sister and Johnson Bay called me today, talk about something else, but she's like a mom to me, you know. And then he also graced me with that female energy, and I think about you all because that sisterly, motherly, love is so important to have around you. And I'm
Yes.
thankful I have it. I'm thankful.
I know it's just this is a very touchy subject, of course. Let me just say that Allah has blessed me, really, really blessed me with good people in my corner. That I can call on. I remember when my father passed, right? The Moors from various areas helped me get there. You know what I'm saying? But my mother was and still my go-to person, even though she's no longer here.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when that takes place, like whether it's good news or not so good news, or something happened, or you know, just something you want to share your day, you know, with my girl, my mother. That's like my first thought. Ooh, I can't wait to tell mom about this. Or I'm gonna tell mom about this. Or, ooh, wait till I tell mom about this. You know, it's all like that. All like that, right? And so now I have this quilt with her photo on it, hanging in the hallway, and sometimes I'll just stand there and talk to her, because I'll have a flashback and I'll just start laughing, right? Something that she did, something that she said, something happened when we were out, and I'll just start laughing, and I'll just say, "Mama, you show us crazy," you know, and then I'll just break down and start crying, you know. It's definitely my go-to person. I'm grateful for the older sisters who love on me in and outside the temple. I'm grateful for the little old ladies in the grocery store who stop and have a little conversation with me
Yeah.
for a moment. It makes me feel so good.
Mhm.
Mhm. And I'll just add on there too. You know, I know we went on the mother. I want to give honors to my father, and
Praise Allah.
because you know it took two to be where I'm at, and so and he is still graced to be here with me, and for there's so many other beautiful people in my life who you know you can lean on my husband, you know. Um, and I'll even call out my children in certain things. Sometimes when you're going through something, I'll give credit to my father for this. One time I was going through something, and I think it was around my deal with my mother's illness, and I was trying to shelter my children through because I wanted them to be prepared for the experience when they visit and see the change because it's rapid when you go. It's not slow. And he asked me. He said, "Why? They need to see and understand." And it was really hard that first time, and it was a question, like, "Why are you" you know, they might know they might understand better than you in some ways. They have a different relationship with her. And in that process, I did, and it's interesting how they all process it very differently, you know, and during the times they process it differently. And there are times when, you know, when I was going through that, when she made her final transition, you know, to have my child next to me and say, "Mama, you okay? I got you here." So, you know, Allah works through all of us, and I have to remind myself of that is for me the deeper meaning of who to that question, who are we able to who in your life to help you through to deal with the pain? I have to remember myself that, you know, there's Allah within each and every one of us. And I don't know who Allah is going to put in front of me to help deal with that
That's
pain.
right.
Yeah.
And even
That's
though
right.
he blessed me with such beautiful parents to come through and to guide me, he's also blessed me with my Father God has blessed us all with the intuition to feel and reach out and connect with others who you can sense love from, you know. And so why I give honors to you all because when that time came, you all gave me love
Praise Allah.
when I was going through pain. So, you know, we all have to make sure we are staying connected with one another and be mindful that when people are going through pain, that is why, is so that we can be there for one another. We all gonna go through different types of pain, you know,
Yes.
but our duty, our duty to one another is to be there for one another.
And just like the definition said, you know, we have to be mindful not to impose our will and our own stuff on other people. You know, Sister Reverend Bay and myself have both lost our mother, but our pain is, I'm sure, different because they are
Yeah.
two different people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I know she loved her mother like I love my mother, you
Mm.
know, but I'm sure it's different. Ooh, child, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Who got another question?
I'm gonna read one.
Oh, give us another
Um,
question.
Sister Hopkins Bay had a question, and her question was, what what pain are you specifically experiencing, and why do you think you're experiencing this pain?
Say that
Now,
one more.
she asks, what pain are you specifically experiencing, And why do you think you're experiencing this pain? And so I had to think about that question because I had to think, well, am I experiencing any pain right now? Well, absolutely, yes. I'm experiencing pain in this right thumb right now. And when I tell you this thing is banging. So I found out I had arthritis in my thumb. And
Mm.
it's funny that when they did the x-rays and everything, I started having cramps in my hands, period. And I noticed that as I'm getting older, I'm just listen, I am breaking down. Do you hear me? And so, um, and I know that I don't know, I can guess why I'm experiencing this pain because I've done hair for like 20 plus years. Also, I've been driving for quite some time. And I would think that those are the contributing factors. But I deal with the pain by rubbing it and accepting that, hey, you need to do some exercise. You need to work. You know what I'm saying? You need to. I got those balls in here that you can squeeze to keep your fingers and everything. Because I feel cramp, and then after sharing it with a couple of friends and everything, they've shared with me that they have family members who have arthritis, like in all their, some have arthritis in all their fingers and stuff like that. And I hope that that doesn't be the case, but I do need to start doing something, I guess, exercise to keep my fingers. I don't know. But that's the pain I'm dealing with right now that I know of. Off and on, I deal with the pain of missing my brother. Um, I have a pillow with his picture on it, and I have my moments. I make my bed up every morning, and if I miss a day of speaking to him, I'd be like, "Hey, you know we ain't talked yesterday. So listen, this is what's going on." And so I'll just share some events with him, and everything. That's a pain that comes and it goes. I could be driving to work and it comes and it goes. But when the tears fall, I just smile, you know. And today, this morning, going to work, I just realized how much I miss just calling him, whether it's me bombing him out about something. Because of course, the sister always act like she the mother of the siblings, especially the brother. But so I miss all of that. So I had a moment this morning. But other than that, that's about all the pain I'm dealing with, and I'm actually just dealing with it, working with it, doing what I can to soothe the pain and alleviate the pain. Peace.
I have way too much to run down, right? But as most people, not most people, but so close people know, and I've shared my journey on social media that I have a joint disease. So, Sister Britt, I used to wake up like this with my hands stuck like this.
Mm.
And when I get up to out the bed, I'm limping because the balls of my feet hurt. All my joints are just inflamed, you know. Sometimes it still happens, sometimes it don't. I just shared, when I'm going through pain, stuff don't get done sometimes, you
Yeah.
know. Emotional pain, yeah, sometimes I try to replace what I'm feeling with a better thought, and sometimes I just let it rip. I feel like sometimes when my grief is extremely strong. And some days I literally was feeling like I might be crazy because why is it like this? Why does it hurt like this? So I ask Allah to please give me the strength to endure and to move forward. And I just sit and wait.
Yeah, I know for me, I have moments of the flash of the pain for the transition of my mother. And they don't come as often as I thought they would, which is interesting for me. But I think a lot of it is because I had a lot of it when she was living with the disease, because I saw the slowness of losing her. That was very, that was hard. Um, and so by the time we got to the end, I felt relief for her.
Praise God.
I wanted her to have a peaceful journey.
Mm.
But that doesn't take away the fact
Mm.
that I knew the journey on this earth had ended. So there were moments, for me that will come and go, come and go. So sometimes I have moments, of that, and of what it was, but it isn't anymore for me. I would say the other pain emotionally, physically, I feel, I got a little knee thing. I could work through it. I try to work through it. But even though I know really for me, when the pain is little, it can get worse if I don't tend to it. So I know I need to tend to, like, what is it, because our bodies are changing, and, a little sprain, little this, little that, it could get worse. So I know I need to go and check that. And I think emotionally, I try to recognize that sometimes my pain emotionally, I want to make sure it doesn't get tied to my lower self, which will take me down a rabbit hole. And we do live in this world where, finances, sometimes you like thinking about that, and children's needs, and you want to do different things. And so that can be sometimes a pain for me, because I'll allow it to be a pain for me instead of trusting Allah. But I feel like that's a sometimes there's days, and then sometimes there's not. And I have to put that in check. But it is a pain, to think about it. Sometimes you're sitting down trying to figure it out. And the thing is I know I'm not alone. A lot of people talk about that. And then is where that perspective comes in, because you think you can't, and then all of a sudden Allah makes a way. He makes a way for you, He it's almost like, for me, it's like he proves to you every time, I got you. Sometimes I hear him say, "What you worried about that for?" Like scolding me. You know what I mean? Like, what? I got you. And then I go back to my little, but, and then, and that can cause that mental, sometimes can cause physical pain. I'm like, you know what? Worry so much you don't eat sometimes, or you worry so much because of whatever those things are. Or like, I think it was Sister Grill mentioned, sometimes you worry so much you start eating, like, why am I keep eating these cookies? Why are they on fire for me right now? All these cookies right now, sometimes it's that way. And then, and then when it get real bad, it's like, I'm not eating nothing. That's why I know that's a trigger for me too.
Well, I'm gonna end it with on page 53. This is chapter 42, instruction 15. It says, "As joy is not without its alloy of pain,
Go ahead.
so neither is sorrow without its portion of pleasure. Joy and grief, though unlike, are united. Our own choice only can give them to us entirely." That's
mic drop. That was the mic drop, because it's time.
Praise all. It's a beautiful show.
Sister Grill, you got anything before we wrap it up?
I do not. I do not.
She said, I do not. Well, I want to thank our viewers for being with us on this conversation today. I also want to just say we miss you, Sister Hopkins Bay. We're thinking about you. We love you, Sister Hopkins Bay. We'll see you next show, because our next show is our season finale, and the topic is Tucked In with Contentment. That's going to be on April 15th. So in 2 weeks, that's our last show for the season. We hope to see you all then. In the meantime, Sakara Sacred Healing, the Berry Bay is going to hold it down and show you a lovely conversation as well. And for those that also don't know, the 95th Moorish National Sisters Auxiliary Spring Gala is happening in St. Louis, Missouri on April 19th. and April 20th. And of course, if you want to hear more of this conversation on More Science Simple of America, Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Facebook, YouTube is our Holy Day service, and on Sunday schools, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we want to close out to also just say to keep in our prayers Brother J. Florence Seal, who's continuing to heal. We pray that you continue on your journey. And we cannot forget our dear brother T. Adams Bay. We're sending you love. And I want to give special love to Sister Adams Bay, who is holding the fort down. Go ahead, Sister Greg.
And Islam, and also please keep a warm thought off of Brother Streeter ill as well. He just recently
Yes,
lost his mother.
absolutely.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Well, thank you all for joining us. And it's a beautiful evening for our conversation. With that, we say peace.
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 Girl talk. Real talk.
Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk.
We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk. Real talk. Hell, I want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're building our foundation upon truth. I'm thankful now to think about it. Communicate and speak about it. The gospel of salvation is good news. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking,
Real Talk, Moorish Talk. In 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m.
We thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.